Good morning. This is Sailor the Piper Man, Piper the Sailor Man, coming you early morning. It's about maybe 2 in the morning, and I was watching a picture called The Year of the Beast. I was smoking this one of my workhorse. Piece of pipe. Forgot the name 406. They hardly make this one anymore. I found it online, Amazon. Almost a year ago, 11 months ago. January will be its birthday. I'm having it, smoking it. I really like it. Feels great in my hand, sturdy. But it's narrow at the end. You figure it'd be wider, it's narrow. So I lost the first bit. So I took electric tape, wrapped it up. Presto. Until my bits come in. They're so hard to find. I made my own. I just wrapped some electric. I just had some oatmeal. That was good. I like oatmeal. Quaker oats. Why? I grew up on it. I love the way they're made, and this is how I make my Quaker oats. You can try it. Take some water. Take some milk. I don't know, whatever you want. How much? Well, this is the bowl I had. I filled it up halfway. Then I take butter. I take like a third of butter and put it in there. Take brown sugar, put it in the bowl, and I mix it. Then I put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. Take it out, look at it. I poured the oats in it, stirred it up, and then start simmering. I put it in for 1 minute. Add a little bit more brown sugar. Presto. Let me tell you, I call it the Santiago recipe because it tastes good. It's sweet, but it's not so sweet. You can taste the butter. Try it. You'd be surprised. So I had a bowl of cereal. I needed it. Cereal's good. Oatmeal's good for the heart. Also good for the heart is omega-3s. Green tea. It's good for the heart. And I take an aspirin a day to thin my blood slightly. Especially when you have high cholesterol, you gotta lower it. I also take it because I take blood pressure pills. I take Anapil 10 grams every day, early in the morning. Or real late at night. This is random thoughts. I just brought that up because that's what I was doing prior to making the video. I wanted some oatmeal. I used to have oatmeal once a week. My breakfast consists of either scrambled eggs, 2 scrambled eggs, or two boiled eggs. I gotta have my two toast with coffee. That's what I have in the morning. The two eggs, that's 144 calories, I think. Get the toast, a little butter. It's gonna bring me about close with coffee and sugar. It's gonna bring me about 500 calories. I have to stay on a 2,700 calories so I can begin to lose weight because I'm inactive right now. There's not much places I can go. Both my knees are arthritic. I could walk around half a mile, but then I gotta stop and I gotta sit. Got a bad ankle. My feet are worn and torn from all the combat boots and forced marches I did. And I'm 63, so this body's gave the best to Uncle Sam. So I wish I could go up north to like Aspen, Colorado, beautiful, there's Sierra Nevada. I love it up there. But I also like the desert. I like the beach. I like wood. That's one thing about the Carolinas I really like. The wood. Wood. You got the beach. I used to do casting. To sit there about knee high. I had learned that in Long Beach City. Going out on Long Beach City, you have at the very Montauk Point where you had the early islanders, fishermen, whalers. And you can catch the blues running up north. And just being out there so relaxing. You figure you're in the Caribbean, right? I mean, back in the 40s and 50s, Puerto Rico was big time fishing, man. Big time. Americans used to come here in Cuba and do barracuda fishing, shark fishing, sail fishing. That's dying out. I really don't know why. Sometimes one generation doesn't do what another generation does, you know? Why are certain pipes popular certain decades and they fall off? Like the freehand and the Danish pipes were so popular in the 70s, leading up to the 80s, and all of a sudden the Italian pipes were a rage. So Jacobo, Caminero, Don Carlos, no. And then it seems like maybe it's just my perception of me getting back with social media that most Americans go for Peterson pipes. Peterson, I felt in the 90s, had not aged their bride, cured their bride properly, and so it's very hard to break him in. Still had a little sap. It's interesting. I had one customer that would buy his Peterson pipe, one pipe, and would boil his pipe. Go figure, right? Then he would gloss it over, do whatever he had to do. But he loves his Peterson pipes, man. You can tell him. Americans feel that way. Americans were mostly into American pipes, Dr. Grable, and then when the Dr. Grable and other pipes, Wally Frank, other household names I just can't remember. Then when the free hands came around, the Danish engineering and stylistically came into effect in the 50s and 60s, and society kind of opened up a little bit, and people were rebelling against conservatism, against classical stuff. Danish pipe making were so right in place, making great pipe. I looked at one pipe by Bajan that I really like. I had that, and S Bang. Nording, I always loved Nording pipes. I have no idea why he did that Compass pipe. I guess because El Tang made one similar. You notice they look similar to me. I don't understand why you want to copy somebody. I guess he was selling his pipe, so they want to get into the. But I thought El Tang had a patent on that design. Obviously, they came to an agreement. I'll let you do if you give me your Briar connection. I don't know what these guys did. But the Compass at El Tag's pipe, the small one with the chimney, it's like a polka, it's still the same. And then the Japanese guy, I think Tsuchi, came out with one. I'm wondering you know. But I don't buy it. I mean, it's got this long little pipe, aluminum pipe. It just looks cheap. I don't like my pipe to look cheap. They should got smoke it. Utilitarian as a utility, yeah. I mean, just a nice finished bowl, painted, dark brown. I don't like these extravagant colors. I still like my Vulcanite stems. I don't know, fine, because I'm not buying the pipe for the look of it. Not really. That's secondary. But the smokability, is there a smoker? It's gonna give me my juice. It's like when you buy a car. I mean, you can get a Ferrari, you can get an Italian pipe, or you can get a Ford. You can get a Ford pickup truck. Doesn't look the greatest, right, compared to a Ferrari, but it gets the job done. And like the Volkswagen, was around for a long time. Like the different versions of the Mustang. I still like that 1968 Mustang though. My favorite cars was I always liked the Lincoln Continental. The long stretched one, black. I don't know, something about that black, that it looks so official, so FBI, so presidential. Put the two flags in the front and you see the president go by. Interesting. There's I'm watching a Christian picture called The Year of the Beast, which is on YouTube. Great picture, end times picture. And the president's car was called the Beast. That's interesting to me. Even more interesting, if you read the book of Daniel, where Daniel has his dream, he has his vision of the fourth different empire and the beast with the UN made a statue. I don't know if you know about that. With all these different empires coming together, becoming one, unified. You got to watch the United Nations. I don't know what's up with them. All this globalization and all that. I don't buy into that. We want to control the migration and mass population. They got ecologically, there's a reason for that. The economy, but also what's going on. The changing patterns, not enough water, war, famine, and so there's got to be a way of helping people in these regions instead of them leaving there, helping them, getting education, getting the resources to build their nations. You're gonna have a war, you're gonna have 200 million Chinese moving to the United States? I don't think so. There's more Chinese. There's 200 million just the military. And you got people in Congress talking about nuking Russia over the Ukraine situation. I mean, how can the word nuclear exchange, we went through that during the Cold War. I was in the military during the Cold War, and we won the war. Perestroika, Glasnost. We won that. The wall came down, and now some idiot, some group are talking about nuclear exchange, like if Russia goes into Ukraine, we'll launch a missile at them. What kind of talk is that? Is this Dr. Strangelove? Do you get me? That still, there are some people alive that have the bravado to think that nuclear exchange is possible. Everybody that's young know that that's not possible. And everybody knows that the Cold War was somewhat of a farce. Not in Southeast Asia, be here, but you fought a war. I had two cousins that died in the war to stop communist aggression. Perceived threat. Well, Vietnam is communist. We ain't doing nothing about it. The Korea situation is at a standstill. And we got some loco up there constantly talking about, and he's going to invade South Korea, but hasn't done it. Why? Because we've been giving him money. So every time all these countries want money from the U.S., they threaten. And then the U.S. politicians rather pay them off. Because people don't want war. We don't want war. These young kids, I think about my two granddaughters. What kind of world are they going to live in? What kind of world is your daughter going to live in? You know? Things are so unstable everywhere. I can't plan for no more than a year down the road. I don't dare plan for 5 years. Before you were working at a company for 20 years, you had your job. If you were in the steel industry in Pennsylvania, Allentown, you could do your 20 years and I'm going to retire, I'm going to set this up. college fund. Uh, I'm saying to myself, college fund. People are homeschooling now, which is a benefit, I think. Have homeschooling, man. If if the public school system are not educating our children properly, like years ago, now we have the resources, technology, where a kid's school. Oh, but then they're social. I mean, they could go outside. I mean, you said organization. Parents can work together. You know, you're gonna teach your kid. I'm gonna teach my kid. Or if you're gonna teach that subject, my kid will come to your house, and then they'll play. We'll give them an hour to play, or you know, kid. Because what we're talking about here is money. It comes down to the almighty dollar, huh? Talking about money and how can we get more money from the poor? Because the rich ain't paying the taxes. Not many of them. So that's what we're dealing with. The working class, lower, middle class, flipping the bill. While the rich are giving to these organizations that all they want to do is bring down America. Anarchy. Everywhere. It don't make a difference. Wherever there's opposition, wherever there's a power structure, they want to tear it down. They can build up a new society. That's why I don't like social engineering. Engineers. Somebody that's supposed to be intelligent to tell me how I have to live my life when I've been living my life just fine. I don't bother nobody. I don't get into people's business. I served my country when it came calling, and now I'm retired. I worked in the industry, serving others, selling pipes, selling tobacco, trying to make people's lives a little better. First is God, then his family, then his country. That's always been my motto. God comes first. In the morning I say, thank you, Lord. You don't need nothing from us but a little appreciation. In Revelation, the book of Revelation, chapter 4, chapter 5, it says that we were made for his pleasure. Check that, made for his pleasure. We were made, so if it's for his pleasure, then we need to please him. Acknowledge his existence. He wants a relationship with us. But he's a holy God. He has certain natural laws and certain statutes he put in place. And when we break those, we end up hurting ourselves and hurting others around us. Like what we're trying to do. Poor police officers are trying to keep the law. If we all kept the law, they wouldn't have to be enforcers of the law. That's how I look at that. They want to defund the police, really? I hate to use the word, but I'm going to use it. These people talking out of their butthole. It's like they go to college, they become dumber. They're smarter. One thing the colleges stopped teaching, they should have kept teaching, was liberal arts. Because in liberal arts, you had the arts, you had dancing, you had music, You have the cultural things. And those cultural things bring us together, and you can have a dancing class, all kind of people could be. You can have art, we can all relate to it, music, we can all relate. We all relate to music. When somebody famous country or whatever has a concert, all people go to it. They love it, pop music, all people go to it. It don't make a difference. They're not killing themselves. Black, white, green, purple, Japanese. They ain't killing themselves in the concert. They're not turning to violence. They're having a great time. So this narrative of, oh, you can't have the people gather because they'll get a mob mentality. That's it. Now, when you talk politics, that's a whole different story. Right now, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. But that's what happens when you have random thoughts. That's most. I've been doing research on the Rossi pipe. I figured, wow, this is a great pipe. What happened? Why did it close down? I'm watching the video. And, excuse me, looking for matches. I got them in my pocket. So, I'm looking at this video about the Rossi